Back, folks, after doing some research, Eddie was the name of the dog from Frasier. So, a little mischief. That dog would always steal stuff and, you know, licking people. Great, one of the classic all-time dogs on TV for sure. On the shores of Lake Superior, ladies and gentlemen, the historic Conga estate at Glensheen Mansion is now a 20,000 square foot house museum operated by the University of Minnesota in Duluth here, and it's a very big house museum, that's for sure.
It is a big house museum. That home, completed back in 1908, is a crowning example of design and craftsmanship in the early 20th century, and we recently stopped by to get an education on how that beauty came to be.
Every time I've been on tour, I'm so shocked by, you know, all the information that the tour guides know. So tell us about what it was like preparing to be a tour guide here.
Yeah, so it's a lot of working with the archives, which we have, and that includes like pictures, letters, diary entries, that type of stuff, and just getting to piece together all those little puzzle pieces that all those letters connect, and just getting to learn about the individuals that were here, their experiences. So Clara and Chester met in 1871 at Syracuse University, and they got married 10 years after meeting in 1881. They then, a year after got married, they had their first child, and over the next, like, how many years, 15 years, they had their total of 8 children. In 1904, they started thinking about Glensheen and coming up here. Chester worked for the Oliver Mining Company as the lawyer, and he also dealt with land speculation in the area, so this was kind of a natural place for them to come to.
A good retirement home.
So this is Helen's bedroom, and Helen is personally one of my favorite family members. I've been doing a lot of research on her recently. She did a lot of work down in Arizona. She built housing for low-income families that were also interracial, and at the time they weren't allowed to buy property, and so she allowed them that opportunity. She actually had a house here in Duluth where she took care of kids that were wards of the state. So she was just like a really cool person, and this room reflects a lot of her personality.
Yeah, this might be a stupid question, but how do you keep this place cool in the summer? There's no central air, is there?
No, there's not. And the fans.
It's all fans?
Yeah. It's fans. It's opening up the windows. All the furniture in the house was done by the William A. French Company, and so it's all specifically designed for each individual room. And that does include secret compartments in all the desks. And this one's probably the coolest one because it has a whole like little contraption. So we're gonna make this one pop out. If you pull open this drawer, there's a little button here. Push in, and then this spring mechanism in the back pushes this out. And it would be used to have like diaries, letters, love letters, that type of stuff. But as I mentioned earlier, all the furniture was done by William A. French, and Clara did work with them, so your mom would have known about this. So it's nothing too crazy that you're going to be keeping in here.
Oh no.
This is Marjorie's bedroom, and Marjorie's going to be the eldest of the daughters. She's also the one that stayed in Duluth. But Marjorie's family is also the family that's still like on our board today. Her family is a big part to how we operate today.
Do most of the kids' rooms have their own bathrooms?
All the girls down here have a bathroom that's either just theirs or one that's shared with one other room, and then that's the same upstairs on the boys' floor. But the cool things about the girls' bathrooms, back then women weren't allowed to take showers, so you'll notice here on the girls' floor, the only shower is going to be in Chester's bathroom. So you'll only see the bathtubs here in the girls' rooms.
Well, I feel like a prospective buyer of this home. Is there an ensuite bathroom and all these?
What's the water pressure?
Square footage around it.
This is the master bedroom. In here we also get asked about why the beds are so tiny if you look at them. They were just a lot shorter than what we're used to today.
This is a big bedroom for me.
Yeah.
And I'm 6 feet tall.
This is probably the most like picturesque spot that we have here on the property. This was more so just Clara and Chester's like private balcony.
Some of the design that we had in a couple years ago aren't here anymore. We went back to the original because they've redone it many times over the years, but the fountain's still original. But we went back to those original blueprints of what we could find for the garden plots. So pretty cool. We've still got those.
It's also really cool being a tour guide because you get asked a ton of different questions, and then you get to research those and learn something new almost every time you give a tour because you get questions that you've never been asked before and you've never thought about it. So just new stuff that you get to learn every day as a tour guide. I do really like history, and this is a pretty cool place to get to see history, especially from one family's perspective.
A lot of fun. You can find more information about the historic estate and their tour information over at glensheen.org. Would highly recommend taking one of those. It was a lot of fun. It's also kind of fun watching ourselves on a tour.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of close-ups on the old face there. Keith kind of doing me dirty a little bit, and that's all right, though. Hey, that's okay.
We're just intrigued. It's a lot of amazing history, so a big thanks to Delaney for providing that tour. You got to remember a lot of information.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Also, yesterday, by the way, my parents' 30th anniversary.
Wow.
They got married in Glensheen 30 years ago yesterday.
How about that?
There you go. Fantastic.
How about that?
We love Glensheen.
Some history.
Yep.
A lot of history there. Hey,